All right, so this is the episode one stats and unaired content and recap of season 35 of The Amazing Race. As always, I am Logan, the TARstorian Saunders, and I'm going to talk about everything I just said I would. The recap will be quite minimal compared to other podcasts because at this point, you're either a contestant who did the episode your goddamn self, or you've listened to five or six other recap podcasts. So I tend to veer away from that. I am very low on the food chain. So let's jump into it. Let's start with the most interesting crap that I get to talk about, which are the stats. So, out of all 89 seasons of The Amazing Race internationally, Alexandra and Sheridan have the worst average of any team at 13.0. Yes, that includes the teams from the bloated Hemmerrots, Lemillion, and Amazing Race Australia Season 5 and Season 6 casts. So, Alexandra and Sheridan are dead last. So, they are 967th place. Surprisingly, no one else had ever cracked the 13.0 average. The worst, aside from Alexander and Sheridan, was 12.5, believe it or not. Believe it or not. Let's see. Alexander and Sheridan are the first sibling team to be eliminated first in the American version since season 25. They are the first brother sister team to go home first in the American version. Alexandra is the first two-time racer from season 13 to get the chance to race. Of course, at that time, she raced under the name Sarah. Sheridan is the first racer in history to share his name phonetically with a popular hotel chain. Yes, there was Sherry of Akbar and Sherry in season 33, but Sherry's full name was Sherry Beth. People thought her name was Sheridan too, but it's actually Sherry Beth. Thailand was revisited for the first time since season 30, 5 seasons ago. Note the quotations because really it was 6 seasons ago. This is the seventh American season to film in Bangkok after seasons 1, 2, 9, 14, 19, and 26. Alexander and Sheridan are the fourth American team eliminated in Bangkok after Mojo, or Monica and Joseph, Liz and Marie, and Jonathan and Harley. Of course, that was new kids on the walk from when they did that Japanese noodle task in Japan. uh, this is the second consecutive Amazing Race episode to feature alumni as clue givers. Sadly, Caroline and Jennifer, despite production being obsessed with them for some reason, they just weren't in the area to give out a clue. And neither were the gutsy grannies. So maybe Patrick Cariega or one of the producers, they were going through the list of, oh, who's in the LA area? Nope, Eric and Lisa from season 15 are not around. So let's use Derek and Claire as clue givers. Uh, Wat Pac Man was revisited for the first time since season 26. That's one of the temples that was used in this Bangkok episode. Let's see. What else do we have here? The Thai Bug Express Pass task was used as a fast forward in season 9, and somewhat similar to that scorpion eating task from season 30's Roadblock in Chiang Mai. Thailand has never been used as an opening leg destination until this season. It is the first time that the American version has been to Asia since season 32. If you remove the quotation marks, it has been 4 seasons since the last Asia visit, because this is really the 36th season to be filmed. Victor and Jocelyn won the first leg, just like Hung and Chi won the first leg in season 32. So I know Victor and Jocelyn are getting away from, oh, everyone's comparing us to Hung and Chi for superficial reasons. And my God, they are not helping their case between the singular backpack and finishing and winning the first leg as well. The most must vote U turn was briefly used in season 31. That was the infamous episode where Phil said Switzerland was the birthplace of democracy. That was an infamous gaffe. Uh, However, in versions outside of America and Canada, must vote U turns are actually quite common. So this is being branded as a new twist, and that's why there are so many confessionals about it. But because of the high number of confessionals, you assume, the must vote U turn for this season must have some sort of impact. I'm sure if we had several must vote U turns in, say, season 20, maybe Dave and Rachel get U turned 5 or 6 times, and they aren't as dominant. I'm sure if we had it last season, Derek and Claire may have been on the receiving end of some of those U-turns. Nah, probably would have been Marcus and Michael. Let's face it. The Express Pass this season had a similar setup to what we see in Amazing Race Canada, except instead of having 3,000 Express Passes handed out, it was just the one. Victor and Jocelyn, when they won this leg, they had the highest combined age of any team to win a leg since Mel and Mike in season 14. Victor and Jocelyn have a combined age of 98. Mel and Mike have a combined age of 172. Nah, just kidding. It's 106. Mel White is old, but he's not that old. 3 of the 4 all-female teams finished in the bottom 4. The closest this has come to happening on a leg with 9 or more teams as of late was season 31 in leg 4, when all 3 all-female teams finished in the bottom 3. So if people have looked at Eliza Orland's Twitter and said, oh, Amazing Race, there's a bit of sexism and misogyny. I mean, only 3 all-female teams have won the American version in 34 seasons. So there's definitely some truth to it. But Eliza was part of that bottom 3. So that's what she was exposed to on her season, was all-female teams really shitting the bed in her season. This is the 5th time that a mother-daughter team has come in second to last or worse on the first elimination leg in the American version. Nancy and Emily, Deidre and Hillary, Marty and Hagendoss, and Andy and Jenna, and now Elizabeth and Ileana have accomplished that feat. Somehow Shelley and Nisi avoided that fate. Out of all the mother-daughter teams, you think they would have accomplished that? Shelley and Nisi were awesome. We need them brought back. One of the very no, I don't want an all-star season. I hate those. I hate returning seasons. Just have 10 regular teams and then Shelley and DC. Let's just do that. And hey, we have another Los Angeles starting line. So that joins seasons 4, 5, 7, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 29, 31, 32, and 35 as having LA starting lines. And this is the second one to use the Griffith Park or the Griffith Park Observatory area. It was also used in season 22. This is the first premiere since season 1 to have both a detour and a roadblock, unless I've forgotten one. Of course, the roadblock, that was the egg one. That went unaired in season 1. So I think this is the first detour and roadblock to be properly aired in an episode and not be used as a DVD bonus feature. Victor spoke Lotion. Well, he spoke Thai in this episode, but he can also speak Lotion. And yesterday, I just went on a first date with somebody, and sadly, I didn't get to use any Lotion. So Victor always one-ups everybody. What up with that? So now we're going to transition into the unaired stuff that you didn't know about that aired during this episode. Rob's interpreter was able to sign him the answer, the City of Angels answer, without production knowing. Why do you think Rob finished it so damn quickly? I also like Rob's looks at the camera and reactions to everybody else like he's Jim Halpert from The Office. Milena was so close to saying same but different in Thailand when doing the swordplay detour. However, she said same but different. We were so close to having that popular Thai meme on national television. Damn it, Milena. The production crew got together after this leg, after they saw how it played out with the all-female teams, and said, damn it, Logan, the TARstorian is going to make so many jokes about this and how the season will play out. We really have to do something about this. Other unaired footage. Victor and Jocelyn also won a copy of Angels in the Outfield because of the multiple City of Angels locations in this leg. However, Victor asked for 100 additional copies so he could use it to train. He wanted to stack all 100 copies in his store. I guess he's already planning for a returnee season. And yeah. Oh, and there was the Thai massage task. Yes, there was something with the Thai massage detour that went completely unaired. It involved the Express Pass. So let's see. I want to get this right. So at the detour, there was the 30-minute massage, but if you stuck around for an additional 15 minutes, and teams agreed to get a happy ending in those 15 minutes, they would be handed an express pass. But teams were already in so much pain from the massage, and teams were really close together and didn't know where everybody else was or how the teams were doing at the swordplay detour, which oddly enough, the happy ending edition would have involved some swordplay at the Thai massage parlor. So any team who stuck around willing to do an extra 15 minutes to get the happy ending would have been handed an express pass. But sadly, that was not mentioned in the episode because nobody earned it. Okay, now to the recap portion where I have a bunch of written notes. I'm not going to say all of them because they're probably not as funny now as when I initially wrote it down. Victor and Jocelyn apparently work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I also did that for about a year and a half. It's not the ideal work schedule that I would use. Sheridan doesn't, at the starting line, Sheridan said, "I don't understand why I'm here." And it's kind of funny because now that this episode has played out, the trolls online are saying, "Oh, I don't understand why he was here either." Yeah. Elizabeth and Ileana, first confessional, they're already describing themselves as spicy. I'm sure the podcaster and former UFC fighter Brendan Schaub is going to be all over that material of that being the first confessional from a Latin American team to refer to themselves as spicy. We don't need any more Brendan Schaub comedy specials, please, dear God, no. Phil says there are no non-eliminations, but of course that means there are mega legs. Mega legs are treated as non-eliminations. I hate this false advertising. God damn it. Of course, a lot of confessionals are made about the must vote U-turn. Phil celebrates that there's no more charters, especially what allegedly happens next season that's going to air. I'm sure Phil is very relieved about that. Alexander and Sheridan spinning around when trying to get directions from somebody in LA was hilarious to see. And I liked how bored the dog looked because the owner was giving directions to other people and the dog is just playing in the grass thinking, come on, man, I want to get moving. Why couldn't there be 10 teams this season instead of 13 teams? Let's see. Melena's one of a kind. Sheridan, he kind of reminds me of George McFly or a character you would see in a John Hughes film. I wish he lasted more than one episode. I feel like I would have had a lot of great comedic content courtesy of Sheridan. He was unintentionally hilarious to me. Let's see. Of course, I don't like starting line tasks. I hate it. We know there's been like 20 something seasons. I rattle off all the seasons that have used LA. Did we need another LA starting line task? No, we did not. Of course, what they could have done is they had the layover in Taipei. They should have had teams go from LA to Taipei and then do that starting line task, or it's not really starting line anymore, but they could have done that City of Angels thing in Taipei, give them some sort of hint about it being based on LA and Bangkok, and then keep going to Bangkok. Yeah, they probably would have had to change the puzzle. Come to think of it, it wouldn't have made too much sense, but viewers don't really want to see more of LA. That's been over and done with after 20-something seasons there. We want to see more of Bangkok. That's where all of the intrigue is. Because we only got two tasks in Bangkok, and that just wasn't enough. Bangkok. Let's see. When Joe was the first one to cross the tightrope during the roadblock there, and he was moaning a lot when he was trying to figure it out. I don't want to make those moaning noises because that'll inevitably get this video demonetized. But it was a lot of moaning over a word scramble. I didn't know word scrambles were that erotic. Liam and Jeremy continue the tradition of having at least one all-male team using a little game of Rochambeau to figure out who's going to do the roadblock. People don't notice this. Oh, this was one of the other unaired things. Rob's interpreter actually had to, he wasn't on the other side of the building. He had to do the tightrope along with Rob because he's always with Rob and Corey. So when Rob and Corey were deciding, who's going to do this roadblock, the interpreter had a massive fear of heights, and he's saying, "Oh, dear God, please pick Corey for this task. Please pick Corey for this task. Dear God, please pick Corey. Damn it, they picked Rob. I have to do this." Let's see. And yeah, Todd had that compliment for Ashley in the cab. That was amusing. Ashley says, "Love is an action, not a feeling." I disagree. Love is a lot of action. A lot of action. Let's see what they got. I try to avoid taking too many notes. We got Bugs. We got Andrea and Milena noping the hell out of the Express Pass task. Lena is a slow eater. Hashtag slow eater. We'll have to keep that in mind if there are any other eating tasks. I liked Milena screaming through the streets of Bangkok, screaming, "Out of towners, out of towners." You know what indicates if you're an out of towner in Bangkok is if you have a camera crew, a camera guy, and an audio guy following you around. I've been to Bangkok. I went to Bangkok twice at the end of 2021 and early 2022. And I can safely say if you've got a camera operator and a mic guy running around with you, chances either you're an actor or you're definitely an out of towner. Let's see. What else do we got? Oh yeah, Phil Kogan. He still can't pronounce the word massage correctly. That's hilarious. And the massage poses were hilarious because if you've ever seen Survivor Thailand, when Ted Rogers Jr. gets that drunk massage, it was the same torque and same pose. That was hilarious to see. So people were speculating, oh, Todd and Ashley, they went through this rough patch, but they didn't specify what the rough patch was. And I found out what the rough patch was. And their marriage almost didn't make it because Todd said that he likes Nickelback. That's why their marriage almost didn't make it. And I mean, he did grow up in the early 90s when Nickelback was somewhat decent, the early to mid 90s range. So he can be a little bit forgiven for that. Even one of my brothers went through a Nickelback phase in the late 90s. So that's why they didn't make it. They had to do a lot of counseling because of that. Jeremy throughout the leg around Bangkok, because Bangkok is really humid. He said he was sweating from everywhere. And unfortunately, they cut off the part where he said, "I'm sweating everywhere, even from my balls." So he really was sweating through his Bangkok, I could say. Let's see. Milena, of course, came up with sword mnemonics. Still didn't complete the detour, but I appreciate the mnemonics during swordplay. Alexander and Sheridan could have probably used Milena's advice. Alexander and Sheridan, of course, they were hustling. I mean, with 13 teams, you figure maybe you're not going to be at peak hustle because you figure, well, with 13 teams, somebody has to be really sucking at this leg. I don't have to really go full tilt boogie to get to the end of the leg and make sure I survive it. But it seemed they were indecisive at choosing who to do the roadblock. It was typical older sibling, younger sibling conversation of, oh, do you want me to do it or do you want to do it? Doesn't matter to me. Do you want me to do it or do you want to do it? Yeah, well, I don't care either way. It's up to you. That's you can't really use that on the Amazing Race. Granted, it's not the greatest, it's not the biggest setback in the world. It's not a big deal, but maybe it gives us a bit of insight as to how all of the unaired interactions went. And then, of course, the detour where Alexander's reasoning for not wanting to do it was justified. If you listen to Joel and Garrett's podcast, Joel still is in physiotherapy for his knee because of that task. And they filmed several months ago, and it's not 100% yet. So that says a lot. And yeah, so I think they were justified in trying to do swordplay, even with that fixed 30-minute time limit, because permanent injury could really suck. Sure, you may survive the Amazing Race for that first leg, but maybe your one leg doesn't survive the rest of your life because of how brutal the physiotherapy was. Let's see. Joe and Ian, they really work through they make initially poor decisions, but they're very good problem solvers. I noticed this leg, especially at the swordplay detour. They really break things down. So they're a type of team where I see them being prone to mistakes, but I think they can recover from those mistakes very quickly. And that was all of the notes I took. I could go through the placement of each individual team, but you saw the episode, or most likely you were a contestant who lived through the episode. And yeah, that's really all the insight I have. It's only been one 90-minute episode with 13 teams, if you include the starting line introduction and the credits and them spoiling the hell out of how the rest of the season plays out in the opening sequence. And if you exclude commercials, that's about what, 60 minutes of running time roughly, and then minus all of the introduction and outro stuff. We're probably looking at about 55 minutes of footage divided between 13 teams and Phil Kogan. So we're looking at 3.5 minutes per team. If that's probably being generous in that time. And then you have to split that between the two individual people. So you're getting about 60 to 75 seconds of footage per person, maybe less. So it's tough to really get too much insight into the dynamics yet. Give me one more week and I'll have more thoughts beyond, oh, Milena was hilarious, or Joe and Ian are good problem solvers, or Victor and Jocelyn are kicking a lot of ass right now. I need more time. And that's it. That's all of it. 20 minutes, 21 minutes. That's not too bad. I'm proud of myself. Good recap, Logan. Good recap. I'll rank myself at the top this week in the recap podcast battle royale. Till next time, peace out and just chill till the next episode.